and welcome to another episode of By the Railside Podcast. This week we're doing another movie review. We're actually going to be continuously doing movie reviews now that we've got a focus of what this is going to be about. We'll probably upload a few random things here and there, just of odd things we want to talk about, but for now on, we're going to stick with the movie reviews. So this week was Justin's choice. I'm joined with Justin as well
Hello.
as Jeff,
I'm primed up and ready to go.
classic, and Jordan.
You use primer before paint.
Yeah, you do. So the movie is Primer, and we'll have Justin tell us about it since it was his choice.
It's pretty neat. Okay, so this movie is a bit of a mindfuck because it deals with time travel. But essentially, two friends, Aaron and Abe, discover time travel. But the machine has to be on. It basically like anchors in a point, and when the machine starts, that's when it will backtrack to when they get back into it, and it's quite confusing. But basically, the movie deals with what happens when you have multiple copies of yourself going back on divergent timelines, trying to change things independently because they have different life experiences, so they all want to change different things. Um, the big crux of the movie is that essentially um, Abe, when he first sets up the time machine, also sets up a failsafe time machine that he does not tell Aaron about. However, Aaron almost immediately finds out about it, um, disconnects it, and then makes a new one so that he has a failsafe. So he restarts Abe's failsafe, but he also makes his own so that he has the master failsafe, so he can always go back and change anything that Abe does. And essentially, the movie just evolves into multiple uh, divergent paths of them trying to get ahead of each other to try to change shit, and it kind of just goes to shit until eventually the final Aaron, who is the narrator, I believe goes to France or something like that. It's kind of an ambiguous ending. Um, but yeah, it's kind of a very hard movie to follow. I definitely picked up on a few more things like on my second watch. I think you really have to watch this movie more than once to probably appreciate it. Like almost the first time you see some of these characters, like they'll have the headset on and it's something you probably don't even think about the first time you watch it, and then you realize that it's actually a clone. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys? Did you guys just were super confused the whole time, or did you actually follow along?
I followed along fairly well. I mean, there was a lot, like, as I'm going through my notes, because I just take notes that will hopefully remind me of what I was thinking of at the time throughout the movie. So, in the beginning, I thought it was just about tech salesmen trying to make it big. Um, and then building something, selling other things to get money for the main project. I think it was about halfway through the film when I actually started to like piece it together. Um, I think it was around the time. Actually, I thought it was a gravity machine at first when they were like first turning it on because I was like, why is it getting lighter? Like, what are they trying to do? But I
That's
think
what they were initially trying to make. They were trying to make a machine that would basically block information from getting to whatever's in the machine, which would cause things to have less gravity on or less weight, basically.
okay, that makes more sense. I think I would definitely rewatch this one because I feel like there's a lot that you're gonna notice on the like second, third time round. I would watch it with subtitles though because people were constantly talking over each other and it was just kind of
Yeah.
confusing for
So
me.
that has two things to it. So first of all, this movie had a budget of like 7 grand,
Yeah.
um, and obviously it shows. But I also super like the way it's shot because it makes everything like you're just like a fly in the wall, and these conversations just seem like they're naturally happening, and you're just there. So I really like the way it's shot, but yeah, they definitely talk really fast and whatnot. But it's also because a lot of what they're saying is not really relevant. It's just showing like random shit that is happening. You're more like most of the conversations between like the side characters are like completely pointless for the most part. The only conversations that really matter are the ones where like it's Abe and Aaron talking to each other. But yeah, some of the group conversations are very difficult to follow because it's just nonsensical bullshit. But basically, they start off as like a think tank where they all put in money, and then they're going one at a time through each person's ideas with their patents to try to make money. If any of them take off, they all own part of the patent, so therefore they all make money. That's the idea of it. But then they cut the other two out almost immediately. So
Yeah, because they didn't want to do their idea.
Also, because one of those guys was also the cameraman. I learned
Yeah.
that in the end credits.
I wonder if they like originally hired a cameraman or didn't hire that actor, and it just turned
No,
out
pretty
like
much
they needed someone.
everyone in that movie is just the guy who wrote its friends and family.
yeah,
This was very much just a passion project that ended up making like $600,000 or something.
Like his final project in film school. He's just like, this is gonna go good. It made like, well, according to this, it made like 800,000 at the box office.
Yeah,
So-
for how much he put into it, definitely did well.
I definitely will have to watch it again, but I did notice like the odd things like the headset in it. Like I was like, why the fuck does he like? Why does he still have the thing in? Like when he was on the park bench, I was like, all right, maybe he's listening to music while he's working. And then the first time that Abe came through and came down from there and started talking to him, and I was like, all right, this is a little odd. And they just didn't take the headset out for the entire thing. And I'm like, why the fuck is he being rude and just he's still got his headphones in the whole time he's
March
talking
Madness.
to him? So and then I'm not gonna lie, I did miss a bunch of stuff because I had to fucking argue with my Uber driver that was bringing me my food because he just dropped it off at a random house. But yeah, it was definitely interesting, but I I found the conversations in between like the other like the supporting characters and stuff like that, the way that they were talking to each other, it's like that it, it's almost like it jumped into a movie as if it was 20 minutes in, which threw me off because it just shows them at the table and they're all talking about things, and it felt like at first like I was missing something, but it was just unnecessary dialogue to fill a gap until it gets to like the actual story. And I would have liked to been able to follow them if they weren't talking so quickly to actually try and grasp what they were doing. But once it got to like the time travel stuff, and I was like, okay, like this is kind of neat. Like they're jumping forward um, to try and get money, and then they were betting on other things and stuff like that. It was an interesting concept and definitely interesting to watch. But yeah, it was. You can definitely tell that the budget was low for sure because I download or I legally purchased a 1080p copy of the film, and certain points seemed very 360p. So
nice. I mean, it was made in 2004, so I
Yeah.
mean, it's not like.
That was-
But yeah, I'm pretty sure this was his first movie.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, the movie doesn't really. The dialogue is very nonsensical for the most part too, because a lot of it is like they already know what they're gonna say, so they cut each other off and like weird shit like that.
Yeah,
So it's like it's kind of weird. The one line though that I did like was, "Are you hungry? I haven't eaten since later this evening." Or something like
yeah,
that.
that one was good.
yeah. They definitely weren't professional actors. They were like answering questions before the question had been said, and I'm just like, that's not. What?
Well, I mean, that's
There was
also-
a couple points like that.
But that's also because a lot of the times it was a clone that already knew the answer.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can,
No, I
you
know
can obviously
that.
say it was bad acting, but like you can also kind of write it off as
I,
like
I'm talking about when like at the very beginning when there's like the supporting characters and whatnot, they
Mhm.
were doing it too, and that was just like when what's his name? I'm terrible with name. Which one's Abe and which one's Aaron? Is the
Abe
blonde?
is the
Which one's the blonde?
Abe.
Okay. Yeah, when Aaron talked before he was supposed to, that was because he had the recording and he was just going through his lines, kind of thing, right? So that was whatever. And then that's when Abe passed out because he realized that Aaron was one step ahead of him the whole time. But yeah, there was a couple times where it seemed like they wanted you to feel like this is just a normal group thing, people cutting each other off, whatever. But they were cutting each other off with sentences that shouldn't have been said almost at that point in time. But I agree with you because of the low budget and whatnot. I did enjoy the feel of the movie. The beginning did seem a little not the beginning almost seemed completely unnecessary. Like the two other friends could have not been in this movie at all, and it wouldn't have made a difference in the slightest. Like they could have
Yeah, the only
not.
thing that they brought was just like the feeling of like we're so poor we need to like group project everything we do kind of deal. But other than that, yeah, they didn't really do much.
Yeah, but I mean the fact that the guy is eating a muffin with a fork and a knife kind of gives that away too, right? Which again was stupid because he was eating a muffin with a fork and a knife after they had already made like millions of dollars in the stock market. So I mean that was a little
Yeah, they never
sketchy
really
as
do
well.
anything with the money for sure, which is
Yeah.
kind of weird. But they
And
talk about it, but they never really do anything with it.
yeah, and they talk about like you only have one option. They're like, oh, we're gonna do stock trading and whatnot to make money. And then the other guy's like, why don't we just win the lottery? It's like, well, that's only like $100,000 a year for so many years. And then I'm just thinking, like, you guys are so poor, you're like trying to take apart a catalytic converter for palladium. Why not win the stock market, then double your stock market money every day instead of your 28 cents that you have in your pocket? Like, these are supposed to be physics. Like they accidentally invented time travel people and they can't even see like compound interest. Like what the fuck?
Yeah,
The movie was definitely made with the idea of time travel by people who have no idea about things, and it just seemed like they researched the like physics and time travel part of it and they're like, okay, this is what we're going to do, but then never branched any kind of intelligence out beyond that.
It also
And
kinda-
their characters like were almost uh shit, what's the word I'm looking for? When they don't follow the same path, like not the same path, inconsistent. Like the one guy, he works for a big business, he's pretty polite, they like rarely swear in the movie, and then at one point he's talking to his wife on the phone. He's like, yeah, I gotta take care of these fags. And it's just like that was like such a weird line that didn't seem to fit his character in the slightest.
I think that had to do with because of the time travel. Because even when they were uh, like almost like a deterioration of the brain almost. Because he said even when he
Yeah.
was like writing shit down, like the handwriting they couldn't understand, but his handwriting was just shit, and they were just like,
Yeah.
why is that? So maybe that's just the,
yeah, and their brain was bleeding. Like it was obviously having an effect on them for sure.
That's
Yeah.
one thing I noticed. Like, the one guy, the first time they noticed the brain bleed, that was a lot. Because, like, he was wiping it off when they were outside, and then they were back in the fucking, like, their apartment, and he was still wiping it off, and there was a bunch on the towels. Like, something, like, why would you not go to a hospital? I understand this is, you're not supposed to leave. Like, you could cause a paradox, but more concern would be better in that situation.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is like they're doing science like with zero ethics or anything. They start off being very cautious, and then they, as soon as they do it once, they throw caution to the wind and like just do all the things you should not do. But that's how they end up getting super fucked, anyways.
I really do like how the blonde, when he discovered it, he went through and did decide to do his own time travel and whatnot before telling his friend or whatever. And then he's like, okay, you're not going to believe me if I tell you this, so I'm going to make you walk step by step through everything I did so that everyone else can tell you and you won't have heard it from me.
Yeah,
That was pretty funny. I feel the movie got better as it went along.
For
The
sure.
beginning was pretty bad.
Yeah, they were trying to
and then,
set the mood, and it I think they did a good job of that, but it went on a little bit too long for sure.
yeah. I think the movie got better as it went. Where's my note? There was a lot of little things. Again, I'm a fucking asshole about this kind of stuff. Like they got a new fridge, okay, for Christmas. Okay, that was pretty obvious. But instead of selling the old fridge or anything like that, they're going to take it apart for like $10 worth of copper. Like you could sell the fucking fridge and get like so much more copper. Are you fucking retarded? Like what the hell? These
Yeah.
people are so stupid.
Well, that's what. No, I don't think because Abe was against it, right? Like he was freaking out. He's like, I like we can just buy this. I don't understand why you're taking apart the
Yeah,
fridge.
this isn't gonna save us any money. Like, how did you get to the point where you're about to cut it before you realize this? Like, what?
They may have also been trying to hide the purchase from that guy's wife, from Aaron's wife.
No, they would be trying to hide it from the other business partners.
Oh, that is also true. Yeah, because they were trying to.
I don't know if that's like what they would wrote as like the actual reasoning, but that's the only thing I can think of that they were doing is that they were trying to hide it from them. So
Yeah, because it sounded
Yeah.
like they were doing business expense style reporting.
Well, yeah.
'cause when the one guy was going to buy a router, the guy asked for a receipt for it, so they might be like tracking purchases of all their shared money.
Yeah, and he had to get a yes from every person because they are all joint.
yeah,
And
they
they're-
didn't want them involved at all. So
One thing is like these people definitely use social media, but then don't actually look anything up because they quoted the fucking NASA thing about NASA spending millions on a pen and then the Russians use a pencil. It's, you know what? If the Russians used a pencil, they fucked up their machines because the tiny pieces of graphite are going to float through their zero G and get in all their ventilation and systems and fry everything because they're super conductive. That's why NASA spent millions of dollars on the pen. It was the good choice. So saying it was the bad choice in this movie is stupid.
Also, I noticed, I think it was Aaron's roommates in the beginning. Or maybe it was Abe, I can't remember. But someone was like hiding out in their room and their buddy, it was Abe.
Yeah.
Why was he afraid of his roommates? He had like a lot of anxiety. He didn't even want to leave his room. He's like, no, Aaron, you got to come upstairs.
because he was a copy.
That's what it was. Okay.
Pretty much any like other than like the very beginning of the movie, almost every other instance of Abe and Aaron, they're a copy. That's why they're so erratic and weird.
That
You
makes
may not realize it the first time you watch it, but like almost all of them are fucking.
Is
Weird.
there 3 or 4 of the black haired guys?
Aaron.
Yeah. Because there's the one in the hood. And which I'm pretty sure the one in the hood is the narrator.
Yeah.
There's
Yes.
the one that tried to fight the one in the hood and lost because he was tuckered. There's the one that they like. He's not
He
the one
was
that got
drugged.
gassed. He's the one.
That's why he was.
Yeah, he's the
tuckered.
one that was drugged with milk, right? So I know of at least 3.
Yeah.
There might have been a 4th one.
Yeah, whatever. Basically, anytime Abe went back, Aaron went back again to stop whatever he was doing. Like Aaron
Yeah.
was always the one that step ahead. So
I don't really understand why. Like
yeah,
I understand Aaron was like super controlling and all that, but like why did they make such a big deal over this like gun brandishing party when no one got hurt? Like
that gets weird. I don't. There's weird subplots that they obviously didn't have time to explore. Like it seemed like Abe was in love with Aaron's wife. And then yeah, I my guess would be that there was a divergent timeline where someone did get hurt with the gun.
it would have to have been
But the
Rachel,
only one we
right?
actually-
Because that was
Yeah. So
Well,
I don't know. Like that the only one we see is one where nothing happens. So
and they talk about one too, the 2 side characters that show up for like 2 seconds once just to be like, oh hey, there was a gun brandishing at a party. But they just said there was a gun brandishing. It was Rachel's ex, and then they never said anything happened, which again is weird that Abe didn't know, the blonde, if I think that's Abe,
Yeah.
didn't know when it was Rachel's ex-boyfriend brandishing a gun at Rachel. Why would his girlfriend not tell him that someone was fucking waving a gun at her? Like there's so many weird little things like this that are just like really kind of ruined it for me. I think the plot was a good idea. Just a lot of little things really piled up for me.
I don't know if I don't know if Rachel was his girlfriend or if she was just like interested in him. And then I think Aaron, when he first went back, he was the one that planted the idea because he it was after he was talking about wanting to like go back punch or if he had a chance he would go to his boss's office and punch him square in the face. So I think there is where he's seeing him like sort of diverge from his usual character, and then what ends up happening is because they know that Rachel's ex-boyfriend is a dickhead, so he's trying to get him in trouble and knows that he'll do something if he invites him to this party, and he knows that the guy's gonna tell Rachel, "Oh, I'm going to this party because she likes him," type deal. I think that's what happened, and because when Abe first learns about that, he's just like, "Holy shit!" Like that's insane that happened type deal. But I don't think they were together, and I think Aaron was the one that set that up to try and do something good besides just getting rich from the stock market, actually using time travel for a good thing.
Yeah, Aaron definitely set it up because he was talking to like the dude's cousin or whatever and was like, "Oh, hey, there's a party. You should come and bring douche nozzle." But I'm pretty sure like even if they weren't together, they were like together, right? Because they were trying to use Rachel's father to get funding for their stuff, and they were saying the only reason Rachel's father was going was because Rachel was going, and the only reason Rachel was there was because Abe was there, right? So
Yeah.
like,
So I think Rachel was in
and
Abe.
yeah, and why was Rachel at the party if Abe wasn't at the party? Because then his friends had to tell Abe that Rachel got the gun branded. Again, there's just like little weird inconsistencies.
Yeah, and I don't know who told Mr. Granger about the time machine
Yeah,
either.
no one ever
Because
says
then,
anything.
and like, what was the point of that other than just like now we have to hide a body type thing? Like,
Was it
I
actually him though?
yeah. So I don't know. Like it was weird because like he goes in it, he puts himself into a comatose because he does it wrong or something like that, and then like I don't know. Like it was kind of weird.
Yeah, it's really weird because when they catch him, they don't actually do anything to Granger, but he like comatoses, and then Aaron's just like face down on the ground. I tripped. Like what was
Yeah.
that?
Well, because he didn't want to be like I
Abe,
fought myself.
yeah, Abe was like in the scene where he was in his apartment and like his roommates or whatever, or was wary of his roommates. Why was he like sleeping face down on the floor beside his bed instead of just in his bed?
Oh, he just passed out, or maybe he was waking up from being drugged.
I think he was drugged.
He wasn't the one that was drugged. Unless no, because he drugged unless he was the
No, because
original at that
he
point.
drugs himself. I think.
Yeah. Yeah, he gasses himself
Yeah, he
in bed.
gasses himself. But that scene's kind of confusing because there's two scenes that start the same way. One where it's the beginning of the movie where he has the head, Aaron has the headset in and he knows all his lines, and then the second time near the end of the movie where Aaron's saying the lines and it doesn't match up because like so it happened twice or something. I'm not 100% sure what happens there, but the second time we see him wake up on the floor, he goes down to the apartment. He starts the conversation off the same, but then he diverges and he's like, "Wait, I've heard this before," or something like that. And then Aaron just starts talking to no one, basically.
Yeah, Aaron was like in autopilot mode because he had his headset in that was saying everything he was supposed to say, and fucking Abe stuttered, and then he's like, "Wait a minute, you're answering things before you already know. What have you done?" And then he like passes out.
Yeah, I like how like I forget which part it was, but the one divergent path happens just because Aaron misses the basketball shot.
Yeah. Nice shot, man. Ha, you suck. It's because you're in a suit and things. It's like, what the fuck? But yeah, I mean, the whole movie was like supposed to be a butterfly effect
Yeah.
thing, but it just didn't have the budget to really get into it.
Yeah, I would love to see this movie like with a full budget to like fully explore all the ideas and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, also the Joseph Platts thing, like why the guy wanted to punch him. Oh god, I'm gonna sneeze. Sorry, I sneezed. I had like no idea for the longest time who this Joseph Platts guy was that they hated, and everyone was like, "I'm gonna punch him in the face." Oh, I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy you're gonna punch Joseph in the face. I'm like, what the fuck? I actually had to like Google who this guy was, and apparently he was just some like jerk off that stole a patent from them originally. I'm like, what? Why are you? What?
Also seems like he's like being forced to work for him, or he is working for him in some capacity.
I have no idea. Other than the fact that he's like wants to punch him in the face, I just like generally have no idea or had no idea who this guy was. And then when I Googled it, apparently he stole a patent from them or something like that.
Yeah. Also, what's do they do they only have like one set of clothing for each person for the entire film? Except for Abe had a blue shirt on once. Other than that,
He
it
probably
was
just
always
used the cameraman's blue shirt.
yeah, it was always white shirt, tie. That was it. Sometimes the ties changed, and even when they like woke up in the middle of the night, they still had the dress shirts on.
Yeah, and they just
And-
put sweaters on over top. Like,
Yeah.
why did the one guy do it? Because he hadn't agreed to going out yet. Or
Yeah.
unless he was a double who already knew that everything was happening that way. And so
Yeah,
he's like,
basically,
I know I'm leaving, but...
They basically always had to pretend they were going to work, no matter what.
And at some points they were going to work, right? Like
Yeah.
they'd go into the box, or they'd turn the box on, they'd leave, they'd go into the box, they'd lay in the box for 6 hours, then they'd come out of the box, and then they'd go to like work or whatever and just like be menial, because at any point there was like 2.5 of them of one, not even copies of one, at one time. So they always had to be dressed. And one, if you're working in business like that, you're expected to be like dress shirt, tie, and whatnot. And it's a lot easier to just have a whole bunch of the same one rather than be like, I'm gonna wear blue today, I'm gonna wear black today. I'd be the exact same way.
Yeah, but even when they like start working in the garage on like on their after hours thing, the fact that they still had on the ties and the dress shirts, like if you're doing like your own think tank thing and you gotta like you're gonna want to be comfortable.
Yeah, at least
Not-
go business casual. Like, take
Yeah.
off the tie, unbutton the top button, and like relax for a bit while you solder.
But no, they're just like, you know what? No, I eat, sleep, shit, dream, fucking business. All
I mean,
times.
there's a lot of startup companies that do that kind of stuff because they want to set ground rules, company culture, all that kind of stuff from day one. They don't want to have to like be like friends with someone. Okay, we're business casual. As things get more serious, okay, you can't be doing this anymore. We want to go more serious. If you have rules from day one, it's just easier. I agree. If it was just me and a bunch of friends, I'd be like, whatever. I'm wearing my fucking Space Jam shirt or whatever. I don't care. But there's a lot of companies that are just like, if we're gonna make a company, there's gonna be rules.
Also, at the end of the movie, was Aaron like the original Aaron? I guess the one that went back in the failsafe. Was he building another time machine, like the size of
Yes.
a warehouse? Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's Primer 2?
Yeah.
This time it's gonna be called Paint.
Primer 2, second coat. No, I do, and the time machines themselves were quite a thing. There was a
Duct
lot
tape,
of
plexiglass.
yeah,
Let's go.
PVC pipe and fucking
Gotta tighten it so the air doesn't escape.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta tighten it with fucking ratchet straps on Freon leaks. Let's go.
What the hell was the point of the garbage bags on the windows?
yeah.
I want to know that. Because I wrote down turning garage into crack den for science.
Yeah. Yeah, that was I don't know, I guess maybe like to stop people from looking in, like if they're the friends that they were cutting out were coming by to be like, "Hey, are they actually working today?"
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, the garage was just because they were pretending to be fumigating against the birds in the attic that were actually
No,
him.
they were fumigating against lizards. The birds in the attic was a drug dude.
Yeah. Well, no, they told
Yeah, no.
whatever. It doesn't matter. The blacking out the windows in the hotel, I'm not 100% sure other than I think they didn't want to do with like I don't know. There's some weird shit with like recursion where they see each other or some shit. I don't fucking know.
Yeah,
But
they
then
were
they
trying to be a
they look at each other, so I don't know. It's fucking weird.
I had two reasons for why they were doing it in the shop. One was to stop any outside interference with their gravity wave machine. Two, to stop people looking in for the fumigation thing, and definitely in the hotel. I mean, he unplugged the phones, unplugged the TV, everything. He didn't want any chance to be seen or do anything like that. So it was just so if other him for some reason walked by and looked in the window, he wasn't going to be seen.
Yeah, like a lot of their precautions made sense if they were only going to go back like once, but then they started going back like every single day, and it was like, all right, like there's no way you're going to be able to move throughout the world without running into yourself in some way. But
Also, throw back to the fucking ghetto cell phones. Holy Christ.
Oh,
I don't even know if that was a real cell phone or was that like a cordless phone that they were just using as a prop. But
it's the way they used to be, man.
and the guy just like panicking when the guy brought it back. Like when Aaron first brought it back and it started ringing and it was his wife or whatever calling when they're in the hotel
Yeah, well,
room.
that's
Didn't know
definitely
it
how you get recursion.
And then they're like, oh, nothing happened. But then, like, obviously, like,
But then when they jumped
that
forward in time and then he answered his phone again or no, sorry, went back in time because they jumped forward because they jumped forward, right? And
no,
then
They jump back.
because he said point B to point A, but you had to be smart enough to jump off at point A because it would just loop around.
I thought that when they were first going to the hotel room, it was them jumping forward because they'd learned like about the basketball games or about the stocks,
No,
and then the return
they
trip
they can
was
only go backwards. So when they turn the machine on, it anchors that spot. Then when
okay.
they go in later, they go back to that point. So they have to live throughout a day and then go back. They're reliving, like, depending on how long they let the machine run. So Aaron can go back like days and days and days because he's got the failsafe one. But generally speaking, Abe only went back like a day or so every time.
Okay.
Yeah, Abe made the failsafe the same day he made the very first one he did without Aaron. And then Aaron made like a fucking foldable one that he could take in with him to do like double jumps. And then that's when Aaron started to get fucked up, was when he started doing double jumps. And yeah. And also, if you I don't know if it's relevant or not, but their hands being part of the like problem, they were being unable to write. They put their hands in the machine when it was still like an anti-gravity thing, and they were weirded out by the sound. I don't know if that's relevant or just a coincidence.
Hard to say. I mean, it could just be them demonstrating like what
Brain
like
degeneration.
brain damage, but
Yeah.
you figure it would have been more severe for Aaron then because he was the one doing like double jumps and shit, where Abe was just going back a lot because he kept fucking shit up, and then Aaron would fix it, and then he's like, God damn it, I got to do it again.
Yeah. Just permanent brain bleed, just always leaking from the ears. What's wrong? It's a condition. I don't know what's happening. I also
I eat a lot of beets.
yeah, I write like a 5-year-old. Fucking
I have 2 extra
yeah.
chromosomes.
I mean, I don't think you're ever gonna find like the perfect time traveling movie, but I think this one does like a decent job of like at least exploring like how bad people would fuck it up, even if they didn't like they had very little like compared to most time travel movies. Like this one has like very strict rules on like how the time travel works, whereas other ones kind of just like oh punch in a number and you go wherever. So I like this one just because it's like it probably would people would fuck it up like almost immediately. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I like the concept of this one, the ideas and the way they put it forward. I obviously with the restricted budget of the guy's first movie, all that kind of stuff, it just could have been executed better.
Well, what do you guys think score wise for the movie?
I put it like a 7 out of 10 for me. Like it was good for what was put into it, like budget wise and stuff like that. So it definitely would. I would watch it again, 100%. I like some of the other things that were chosen, but um, yeah, it was an interesting concept, and I enjoyed it. So 7 out of 10 for me.
I'm gonna personally give it a rolling uphill 6 because I feel like the more you watch it, the better it's gonna get. So it's gonna keep climbing up that hill because this is definitely one, and since it's only an hour long, it's very good to rewatch because I mean you can just watch it back to back twice, and that's the length of an average movie.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said about there are movies that are designed that way. There's something to be said of like whether that is a good decision or not. Like me personally, I generally don't rewatch movies. I think this is, I want to say the third time I'd seen this movie. So for me, I give it a fairly high rating just because I usually do not rewatch movies, and this is one that I don't mind rewatching. So I would probably give it like an 8, but there are definitely movies. I can't think about any other ones off the top of my head, but that they intend you to rewatch multiple times, like the directors, anyways.
Yeah, things like Shutter Island and Inception.
Yeah,
You're supposed to watch more than one and get more and more each time. Especially Shutter Island. That's one I did watch a couple times, and yeah, you pick up on just more.
I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard Hereditary is like that as well.
Yeah. For my rating, if you base it on the budget, it was a very good movie. It'd be like an 8 out of 10. But from a pure entertainment standpoint, again, I'm an asshole, so I'm gonna give it like a 5.5 kind of thing. I thought it was fine for the budget, but from pure entertainment, I'd probably rather watch The Dark Tower than it again, and I gave Dark Tower like a 6 or something like that. So I'd probably have to give it, if I'm being objective, like a 5.5. I don't think it was a bad movie by any stretch. I just don't think it was like a movie I would watch again because just the little things got to me, right?
Do you guys think?
Also, just so everyone knows, I'm the kind of person that would never, ever give a movie a 10 out of 10 because that means it is literally perfect and has nowhere to improve. No movie will ever get a 10 out of 10. Just that's the kind of rating person I am.
Shrek.
We'll find a movie Jeff likes eventually. It might take us 8 years, but we'll find one.
Shrek the Third.
Also, I'm not a movie person. I've watched more movies this year because of the podcast than I did all like last year, I think.
Shrek Forever After.
I've seen Shrek 1. Is Shrek 1 the one with the dragon, or is that 2?
The dragon's the main character.
The dragon's in all of them.
Yeah.
Okay, when they meet the dragon.
That's the first one.
And then Donkey falls in love with it. Okay,
Yeah.
I've seen Shrek 1.
10 out of 10.
Don't be a menace in the. Oh God, it's such a long title. I can't remember it. It's like don't be a menace in the Southside Hood while drinking juice or something like that.
That's
Give
a
me
movie?
Yeah, I gotta Google it.
All right. Do you guys think it would be like it would be better if it was longer, or did you like the short movie?
If they can explore it more thoroughly, longer is always better for me. I have no problem sitting through a 3-4 hour movie because I'm also not the kind of person that has to watch something in one sitting. So if I want to break it up, I'll break it up. If it fleshes things out, makes things more detailed, I am always up for more detail rather than less. Longer movies are better for me.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think like just if they fully, I mean, they leave it open so that there's some interpretations, but I think the movie overall would be better if you just sat down and explained all of the motivations of the characters and exactly showed more of what the clones were doing. Because a lot of it is just talked about, or like you flash to what they're doing or whatever. Like you could still have the gotcha at the end with like Aaron having like the master failsafe, but I think showing what they were doing would definitely be better. And then yeah, I don't mind long movies at all. So like 3 hours or 4 would be fine for me as well.
I just want to cut in real quick before you guys answer. 2 things. If Dark Tower was like a 4-hour movie and fully explored the background and all that, that would have been a great movie. 2, one thing that didn't really bother me about this movie, but really kind of irked me was the way the narrator with the tape to himself kind of thing told certain events instead of showing certain events. That is like storytelling 101. Show it, don't tell it. And it seemed like probably because of the budget, they used the tape recorder to speed through certain sets and just tell what happened instead of showing it. Which, if they just extended it just that much, showed those scenes, it would have made it longer, better movie for me.
Or,
Yeah, for sure.
or even not even just like showing the scene, like even just like chopped up flashbacks or something like that, just to
Yeah, that's
go
still
with
showing to an extent, right? Like you can have him narrating over showing what's happening instead of just like panning over top the city, being like, and then this happened.
Yeah. What about you, Jordan? Think it'd be better longer?
Yeah, I think given more time to go in depth to everything, it would give it a big advantage. Just because I mean they have the time to go through it all, but it all comes down to the budget, right? Because it was $7,000. There's not much that you can do with that. I would really enjoy like a reimagining of it or like another look if they went to redo it. I think it'd be done really well if they went with the same guy again. I think he cut out a lot of the unnecessary shit and deep dive into the good stuff. Off topic, the movie's called "Don't Be a Menace to South Central While Drinking Your Juice in the Hood." That is
What
the
is
full
that?
title. It's a movie.
And yeah, but why?
I was trying to think of the title earlier. Don't worry.
It's 10 out of 10.
Yeah, yes, 10 out of 10.
Oh, that's the 10. Okay, I
Yeah.
got you now.
It actually got a 6.6, but it's a 10 out of 10.
All right.
94% of Google users liked it.
Yeah, like there's definitely ways to do it. Like there are certain movies that play like I think what they were going for was like show the series of events and then they flip back and then show it like in the view of the actual person that's going through it. I can't even remember the fucking movie that I just watched that did that, and it was like it was crazy just showing that those scenes from that different perspective because you gain so much from it. Um, I think this movie tried to do that, but it didn't. It did it pretty successfully, but not like not I don't know.
I think one thing that could explain the lack of scenes when it comes to the tape recorder is because either that person hasn't seen them yet or hasn't experienced it, or it just doesn't happen in that timeline. Right? Like, because I mean, technically this is the one that this is the master Aaron talking to them. This is the one that knows generally what is going to happen every time because he's lived through it all. So I guess that could explain it a little bit.
Yeah. Have you guys seen Upstream Color?
No, but it's.
No.
I was gonna bring it up after. That's
Yeah.
his newer movie, and apparently it's very good.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either, but it sounds just like reading the little description on it seems like another mindfuck movie.
I really enjoy mindfuck movies, but only if they make sense. Just a little bit, like enough to hook you in. Because there's some that I can't recall any offhand because they probably don't jog my memory. Because I'm like, yeah, shit movie, I don't care.
Yeah.
But like, if there's nothing to hook you in and make me give a shit about the movie, I'm not gonna rewatch it. I'm not gonna think about it. It's like that was confusing. Let's move on to Mulan.
Yeah, like the way he did it with the like with the earbud, like I noticed that in the one thing, like it was just constantly in, and that hooked me. I was like, why does he have this in his ear? Or even when he said like, why do our hands not like why can we not use our hands properly? I would have enjoyed somewhat of it or finding out why it is because they they figured out all this science and stuff like that, and then put it all together, and then just they were just like, I don't know.
Yeah, hand don't work no more. I see
Yeah.
the letter, but I can't make it.
Yeah. So, which is all right because it leaves it up to the interpretation of the audience, but you can lose people on that because it seemed like a focus in it, but you can lose people if you don't explain it properly.
Yeah, for sure. I really like movies that at least make you think after the movie's over. But yeah, if you leave a bunch of unanswered questions, it's definitely a turn off. If they're not like, well, that could have happened or that could have happened. If it's just like, why did he open the door and you just never show it or whatever, and it's just like, okay, whatever. But
Yeah. And speaking of the enjoyment of the mind fuck, that's actually where our next string of podcasts we're going to go through. We've got a IMDb list of it's the IMDb's top 40 mindfuck movies. It's a list of 45 movies, so there's a mindfuck for you.
It's like the 99-mile beach. That's exactly 55.2
I
miles
like
long.
so many of these movies that are on here that apparently that this is my genre, because there's a lot of movies that like I just don't give a fuck about. But most of the ones on this list, if I've seen them, I'm like, oh yeah, it was a good movie.
Have you seen Mr. Nobody?
I don't think so. I think I intended to watch it, and I don't think I ever did.
It's I've seen it 3 times. 2 times sober. No, 4 times. 2 times sober, 2 times not sober. And I still have trouble grasping what goes on.
Oh wait, I have seen it. That's the one where there's like they go into like the VR thing or whatever. I think.
No, I don't believe so.
Hmm.
Is that one on the list? I want to find out because if it is,
Might be.
a question about this: are we gonna do it in order, or are we just gonna go like random number generator 1 through 45, and then?
Yes, I have seen Mr. Nobody, but I don't. It was a while ago.
Oh,
It
okay.
is on the list. We can go one through. I don't know. What do you guys?
Let's get a group opinion. I would be okay with doing a random one because that way it's not predictable, right? So we can pick it up on
Well,
on Monday.
are we doing the whole list, or are we just doing?
Oh yeah, full list. Full. We're going full mindfuck. Like your brain's gonna be jelly by
Well,
the end
like
of it.
So 45, that's basically a year.
yeah. So you're doing this genre for a year. Like that's what you want?
Sure. Unless there's like stuff on here that we can just throw out. Like this list is pretty. Like there are some that are definitely like okay, like definitely mindfuck, but I don't think like Edge of Tomorrow's on this list, and I don't like it's definitely like
Is that the natural disaster one, or is that day after tomorrow?
no, it's day after tomorrow.
Oh,
This
okay,
one
my
is
bad.
the one
Edge
that
of Tomorrow is like the mech suit action time jump thing.
He gets bled on by an alien.
I'm pretty sure me and you saw it in theaters. It's not a bad movie, but there's not like much going on brain power wise.
Yeah, so I guess for now, like we can just go through the list and pick and choose. Like maybe each of us will go through the list and pick a movie that we would like to watch, and then we'll just do the same thing that we've done. We'll each go through it, because I mean, obviously, there's going to be some on the list that we're all like, not really, or we've all seen.
I would like to vote for that because, for one simple reason, it gives us like 4 to choose from at first. So we're all going to pick one that we'd like to see. We'd enjoy it. And then if after like, say, 10 weeks, 16 weeks, 20 weeks, we're starting to get bored of the genre, we'll have at least seen the ones that we want to, and then can just kind of pass on the ones that we don't really care about, right? So like it's more enjoyable that way if we decide to not watch them all, and then if we decide to watch them all, we're going to see them all eventually anyway, so who cares what order we do it on.
All right.
Yeah. Also, question that I just thought of here. One of the movies on this list, Cloud Atlas. It is a movie I like, so it's probably one I will recommend at some point. But it's like a 3, I think, almost 4-hour movie if you get the extended cut. Do you want to just skip that one, or do you want to...
Like I said, I have no problem with long movies.
Yeah,
so
I just what do you two think? Like, because normally I like to watch the movie ahead of time, but you're basically just going to be dedicating your day to that, probably.
Full
so.
afternoon, yeah. Well, we'll see how it goes because even some of them like Interstellar's on this list, which is a long one. Inception's on this list, which is a long one. Shutter Island's on here, so we'll play it by ear. If it gets voted, we'll vote. And then also, listeners, if you have a mindfuck movie that's not on this list that you think we would enjoy, or you want to torture us for some reason, go ahead, throw it in the suggestions. There's YouTube comment section. You can add comments in. I don't know what. I don't think Spotify has anything like that. I have no idea.
No. I
But-
don't believe
Tweet the twaddles.
Yeah. You can tweet at us too, and if enough of you do that, I'll probably even check it.
Jeez.
So.
Yeah, we got the email notifications on, so come on, piss us off.
All right. So, has everyone looked at the list? Does everyone have a rough idea what they would like to suggest first?
No.
I
I have not gone through all 45 movies, but I just saw one named The Lobster, and that's where I'm leaning.
Okay. So, we've got.
There's movies that I definitely know are good, but I don't know if I want to like rewatch them. So how many do you want? You want like a
We'll
top
do-
3?
We'll
or, like-
each pick.
Because we're gonna have overlap probably.
Yeah. Well, each week we'll each do like what we were doing before. We'll each pick like right now we'll pick 4. So yeah, everyone gets one pick, and then that person's pick goes through. Or since we already have our order, we can do it that way too. So the first one that we watched was Jeff's, then mine,
Uh-oh.
Jordan's, and then Justin's. Or we can just, like I said, randomize it. So
I have mine ready and a backup ready. Because I remember this movie, and I remember it was a good one.
I've seen like 3 of these movies, so I'm probably just going to be picking one at random that
Yeah.
I recognize the name of.
Also, I guess for the long ones, we could do like a special, like on a holiday or something, or when we all get together, if we want to watch a movie and then record the podcast after. We could do that.
that's true. All right. So my first suggestion for next week will be the Stanford Prison Experiment.
Is that the one? I think my sister watched that one. Is that the one where basically power goes to their head and then they do real like unethical shit?
It's based off of the actual Stanford Prison Experiment,
Yeah.
which was you give people titles, you assign them roles at random, and then basically they would just the human condition just goes into that role. So like the guards
Yeah.
start being the guards, and the prisoners start thinking they're real prisoners,
And
shit just goes
morality just
crazy.
kind of goes out the window.
Yeah.
Yeah,
one.
that's definitely the one my sister had watched.
I think I watched that movie in school at some point, but I don't remember anything about it. I know the concept though.
I don't think so. This one came out in 2015. I know there was like a documentary or something that we
Yeah.
used to watch because I remember watching it in high school or something about. it
Oh,
in high
maybe
school
that's
as
what I'm
well.
thinking of then.
Yeah. All
Why
right.
is Joker in the list of mindfuck movies? He's
Because,
just a
like-
guy that goes crazy.
Society, man, it fucks your mind.
We live in a society.
My choice is going to be a movie called The Signal. I don't want to give too much away, but fantastic movie, and it definitely inserted itself several inches deep in my mind.
I don't know what to pick.
Oh no, we're kind of putting you on the spot here.
Yeah.
I'm like Roland from the Dark Tower book series.
I don't know. Should I pick something I have seen that I know I'll like, or something random that I don't know?
I know you're leaning towards number 38.
Number 38.
Midsummer.
Oh, that is a fucking good movie.
I don't think I've seen Midsummer.
No, you went to
You bail. I think you
got it on
bailed
my
halfway
brain.
through. Yeah. Very good movie to watch while stoned, though.
Oh, was that on my birthday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
'cause
Yeah.
I had a fucking massive migraine, and I wasn't
Yeah.
paying attention anyways. I was playing Pokemon.
I mean, I know we'll definitely get to Midsummer. I just don't know if that's the one I want right now. Platform is also a good movie, but I watched it like less than a month ago. Are you guys down for a long movie, or you want to space that out?
Long movies are fun by me.
Yeah. Me and Jordan
All right.
watched them at the same time, so
All right,
take half
I'm
a
gonna
second.
put 4. Just because I think Jeff's gonna go for Donnie Darko, so I'm gonna put.
No, I've
4
already
as
seen that one.
Yeah, but we're definitely gonna have to rewatch Donnie Darko though. It
Yeah,
has-
but I'm not picking a movie I've seen. I mean, I've seen 4
you guys
movies
seen-
on this list.
You guys seen Cloud Atlas?
I recall starting it, but I don't remember a damn thing about it other than Tom Hanks has tattoos on his face.
All right. So you saw the poster.
No, actually, I'd never seen the poster. I downloaded the movie. No, I paid for the movie legally when I was in university, and then I never watched it, or I started it, and I was like, "This is confusion."
Yeah, gotta be honest. I thought this was the one with Channing Tatum and Mila Kunis.
Okay.
Step
Well, we'll
up.
put forth Cloud Atlas.
Step
I
up
actually
two.
don't remember.
Step up 3 with a
I
vengeance.
don't know if it will be good when I'm looking at it through a critical eye or not, but I do remember enjoying the ride the first time I watched it, but that was many years ago. But if we do mine, I think we should agree whether we're going to watch the extended cut or not.
Yeah, we all have to watch the same version for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll put forth Cloud Atlas for now.
All right, Cloud Atlas. All right, Jeff. We let you pick last, so you can go through this list.
Yeah, I'm looking at. I've got 3 up right now, and I think this one will just piss me off because I've recently listened to an audiobook about the importance of sleep, and The Machinist is about a guy who hasn't slept in a year, and I think that movie's just going to piss me off. So I'm not going to go with that one.
Didn't you die like way, way, way before that?
Not necessarily die, but your body would completely break
Yeah.
down.
Unless you're Christian Bale, because
Yeah.
his body transformations are amazing.
Well, I mean,
He went from the fighter to playing Batman in like a year's time.
and then to the machinist,
Yeah.
which is like, he's disgusting in that movie. I don't want to. Yeah, yucky. I didn't like it.
So my arbitrary decision is going to be based on either The Girl on a Train or Source Code. Have you guys seen either of those?
I've seen Source Code. Also takes place on a train.
Oh, that's good. Jeff likes trains.
He does.
I
His
do
favorite
like
anime weeboo is
Oh,
trains.
my favorite. My favorite's still Death Note. So if you've seen that one, we'll go with The Girl on the Train. It's the worst of the 2 movies rating wise, but
Girl on the train. Oh, Emily Blunt. She's got some cans.
I
Sexism.
don't know.
I'm a. I don't agree.
All right. So, roll. No. What's the roll?
Is it exclamation mark?
Roll D4. 1. Hey, that's me.
Stanford Prison Experiment.
All right.
Is there multiple versions of this one?
I don't think so. I think
Okay.
it's yeah, this should just be the one. So, Stanford Prison Experiment will be the next movie review. It's actually it's a pretty good movie, and it's actually a really interesting experiment. So, yeah, everything.
Historical
Human
movies.
mind.
Wow.
Yeah, you might even learn
I'm
something.
going. Is it on Netflix or do I download it?
Pay for
You
it
have to
legally.
pay for it legally,
I don't
Yar,
have to because
matey.
we live in Canada.
That's true.
and Canadians still pay for things legally, and
No.
say sorry after.
Sorry I didn't pay for your movie, bud, but it's too fucking expensive. You know how many double doubles I can buy with that? Idiot.
All right. Other than that, thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging out. Don't forget to subscribe to YouTube and Spotify and
Follow us on Twitter.
Yeah.
Put a hashtag on there.
Yeah. One time, maybe we'll even do an Instagram where we just show Jeff's loose skin.
Or my hand. Be like corpse husband. Or corpse underscore husband.
I don't know who that is.
He's got a deep voice. Look at my hand.
All right. We'll see you guys later.
See ya.
Bye.
Stay off the pipe and don't forget to wipe. Rest in peace, Iron Mike.